Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with a craft with me. I'm going to start a little bit of a series on page spread ideas. So I often do a lot of my independent ephemera outside of the journal, and then when I get to putting everything in the journal, I end up having way too much. So I'm going to try another avenue here, and I'm going to try to create some of my ephemera on camera right on the journal pages. So what you see here is two examples. So this is obviously the boho. This paper is from 49 Dragonflies. It's actually from her Bohemian Summer kit that I'm using in my planner, and the tags were absolutely adorable, so I thought we would try that. The paper is also from her Bohemian Summer kit. No, not, I'm sorry. The base is from Bohemian, Wild Rose Bohemians, and the belly band is from the Summer Ephemera, Bohemian Summer Ephemera from 49 Dragonflies. So let me show you what we have going on here. So again, I have a full page spread. Looks like this. I did experiment with some ink. Where did my ink go? Did I put it away? I think I did. I need to grab that back out because we're going to need it. But I have the mini cubes of the archival ink, and I have one that is that color, which is perfect. So basically, this is just going to be sewn into the signature just as normal. And what we have here is two tags that are glued down with a little bit of a flap. Let me just take this out. And this one out. Like so. So these open up like this. And so you've got some writing space here, which is kind of cool. And you could do all kinds of things, like you could put a pocket on here, you could put a belly band on here before you actually punched your hole for the eyelet, if you do eyelets. And then it's got a belly band here, and it's got two large journal cards. So again, the belly band is from 49 Dragonflies. This is from 49 Dragonflies. This one is from Wild Rose Bohemian. So just got two nice big cards as well, which is plenty of writing space in this case. I might decorate this up a little bit. I just wanted to get on with the video and get another video up on the channel. So I'm just trying to get that back in there. And then I lined up my my eyelets and my whale tail tab on this card so that it would sit kind of in the middle there. So super great piece of ephemera. I'm going to set that over there. And then I did a similar one with for the romantic Paris romance. I don't know what I'm calling the journal, but similarly. Now, the problem I ran into with this one is I made these too big, and they weren't actually tags in the kit. They were journal pages that I shrunk down. So, but they were a little bit too wide out this, or too far out this way, but I show you my improvisation here. They're also, as you can see, they probably are supposed to go like that directionally, but I don't care. I'm not going to be too picky about that. So let me just show you this one. Absolutely love the tones of all these papers. This is from Enchanted Journal Kits, and this is from the blue kit is from Emma Parrish. So the print colors, the background pages, excuse me. This, I believe, is from the new kit, Liana Scraps. I believe that's one of her tags, but everything will be linked below. So we have two journal cards in here, one that is this fabric paper, and one is that. So, and again, I staggered that whale tail tab with this. But what I ran into is, see how little room I had between those 2 points. So I basically took a circle and I just made just a little bit of it folded over on this side of the page. Worked just fine. It worked like a charm, and I think it's really cute on the other side as well. So that is our second example. So let's get going. Let's go ahead and do this one first. We're going to do two on camera. Yeah, we're going to do 2 on camera, so I'm going to set that one aside. And we're going to do one more ocean one, because I really need, not ocean, Paris Romance Journal. So this is our belly band, this is a journal card, and this is a journal card. Now I wanted to show you that in order to make the tags, I actually took a couple of the journal pages from the kit and I shrunk it down to 70%. So I've got a little bit more flexibility when cutting these down into tag shapes. The ones I want to use are, oh darn, I did not pick very well because this is going to be sideways. That is a bummer, but it is what it is. So I'm going to turn and I'm going to cut these down. I'm going to use my Bohemian example to get the size that I want, okay? So these are measuring, pardon me 1 second. These are measuring 3 1/4. So let me get a little Post-it note that I can write on here. The 3 1/4 wide by, I believe these ones I folded over 1/4 inch, so they would have been 4 and probably 4 3/4 inches tall. So that should be good for this. So that's the dimensions. I want to kind of follow that because I liked the gap there. I liked the distance between that closure, that round closure, and that tag. That's what we're going to try to replicate here. So we've got, so 3 1/4 inches wide. So we need to trim this down to, and I'm going to go ahead and cut right on that line there, the center page spread, and we're going to go out 3 1/4, and we're going, well, we should probably go the other way. I don't want to cut off the bird. That would be not very nice. So I think I'll go the opposite direction. So I'm going to cut here. And then we need it to be 4 3/4 inches high. So I'm going to go 4. I'm going to kind of go over to this edge and do 4 3/4. So I've got 2 marks. So I'm going to do that on both of these and I'll be right back. Okay, so now we have our tags, so we can proceed. So let's go ahead and start with working on the base, which is this paper. And again, this is from Emma Parrish. Really, really beautiful background pages. They were perfect tones for this journal. So I'm just going to get my bone folder. I'm still sick. It's not going into my chest, so for that I am very grateful. So I'm going to pull this over. We're going to cut our tag shapes and all of our stuff first so that we can do all of the inking at once. So because we're going to hinge these, that bird looks so funny going that direction, but you know what? It is what it is. And so we're going to go, but they both actually look kind of weird. So we're just going to go with it. So we're going to tag shape the top of these. So I'm going to use my little template here, and I'm going to use the number 2 size, and that's just randomly what I created long ago. And scissors. When I do my prototypes and then I'm ready, you know, I want to do a video, I still have to clean everything up before I move on. It's just my little idiosyncrasy, just who I am. It's kind of like clearing my mind a little bit. So there's that. And so we also need to go ahead and do a 1/4 inch fold on that. So I'm just going to bring over my little board here, and we're going to do that on both of these tags. Again, a 1/4 inch. You could go a little bit less if you wanted to, just depending on what size you want your stuff to end up being. But that's what I'm going to go with. Hopefully I did those the same. A little bit of a foggy head here. Yeah, they're good. And I did print a little bit of a pattern on the back because I liked what that looked like when I was flipping this over. Once this tab is glued on, it just looks a lot better than it being some kind of tea stained or coffee stained paper. So on these ones, I thought we'd do a little bit of a different punch. I usually do corner, I round the edges, but I think I'd like to use this one today. So we're going to go ahead and do all this so that we can get everything inked up. An update on my little dauber. So it works until it gets like this, and then you got to toss it. But it's still more affordable, in my opinion, than those Ranger ones, which I feel like I change every few days anyway. And those ones lasted me, the little dauber ones lasted me 2 days. So I'm happy with that because they're, you know, you can get them in bulk and they're not very expensive and they're not name brand or anything like that. So, but I'm really enjoying them. And let's see, let's do this one too. I think we'll do the journal pages as well. Make it very interesting. So my belly band measures 8 1/4 inches tall because that's the height of my page. So this is the belly band. And I thought this was cool because a person could actually write on that, which is kind of nifty. There we go. Muscles, girl. Okay, I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to ink all these pieces up and I'll be right back. Okay. Getting to the end of our inking. And I was thinking about something while I was doing that, and that is, whoops, if you had something that was super directional like I do on these tags, you could have done this as well. Okay, but to me it seems kind of like a double thing, and you'd have to make them shorter. So I didn't end up doing that, but that's an idea as well if you're dealing with directional paper like I am. So we're going to start by, we're going to make our little holes for our eyelets first because I want to be able to line them up and get them in the exact same place. So I've got my little We Are Memory Keepers eyelet setter. And I'm just aiming for the center. I just I spy it, you guys. I don't worry about it. Okay? If it's not perfectly centered, I don't care. Okay? So now we're going to just get things glued on, and we can always set our eyelets later. So I'm just going to set these out and see how far apart, how far down I want. About 1/4 inch from the top and the bottom. Okay, I'm just going to use my white glue, and I'm just putting glue on this little flap that I made, and it's going to go down on the page like this, so it's not going to wrap around the other side. And I'm just going to position this about 1/4 inch from the bottom, like so. The other problem that I have when I make pre-made ephemera sometimes is I don't get them sized correctly, and then I go to use them in the journal and they're too big or they're too wide or something like that. Doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen enough to be a little bit frustrating. So this will solve that problem as well. So again, going about 1/4 inch from the top. Again, I'm not measuring, I'm just I spying it, kind of getting a general idea. Okay. All right, so our next thing is we're going to put on our little closure for this side. So I've got a couple of circles, and I tried to use some coordinating paper, but things that would pop out and kind of separate themselves from the rest of the design. So I'm just going to try to fold this one in half, trying to keep it straight as I can. It's not, it's imperfect, but that's what we're aiming for. I need to throw that dauber away. There we go. Actually, this is not going to show. Yeah, that's going to show. The whole printed side is going to show on both pages. And so let's see about this one. I'm going to, again, just try to do a similar thing here. And then we'll try to punch our holes together as well. I'm not sure if that will work, but we might try that. I didn't try that on the prototype, so let's see. I didn't really have any trouble, and again, I don't worry about things not being perfect, so I can kind of be free to just do what I want. Okay, so then what we want to do is put a hole in the, as much in the center of that as we can. I am going to go ahead and line them up because I feel like it will be better. So we're going to do that. And I'm just going to aim for the center. It's very hard to aim for the center of something that is circular, but I'm going to try. I'm using the small setting, the smaller eyelet setting on my tool here, and I'm just going to give it a go. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. And so now we're going to glue this on here, and we're going to make sure that we're not gluing on that side, and we're just going to line that up like so. Okay, and what I did to have those holes lined up, so you see where the hole is in the tag and where the hole is on our little tabby bit is right there. So what I did is I just took my pencil and I just traced one side of this just to make sure that that's where I line it up when I glue this down. So we're going to put glue on this side. I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac so I have an option to move it. Have a little bit more time with Fabri-Tac. And I'm going to again make sure that I have that up so that I don't glue the page closed. And I'm just going to set that on there like so. It doesn't look like it's straight, so we'll fudge it a little bit. I don't know what I did, but that looks straighter to me, so erasers are wonderful. Let's just erase that line. Okay, and we're going to do the same here. Actually, I'm just going to put it on and I Spy it because that didn't really work all that great. But you guys can figure out what works best for you. So I'm just going to put that on there and I'm going to line it up. Not that far. It's not straight. Part of it is because when I pick up the paper, I'm kind of bowing it a little bit. But with Fabri-Tac, you get some serious wiggle time. Okay, and I would just turn it over and make sure you don't have any oozing glue over here from your little tabs. Okay. Awesome. So we will do all the eyelets at the end, but look at how that looks versus if this was tea stained. I did one that was tea stained and I didn't care for it. It just felt like it was out of place, and this can still be written on. And that's the idea for these, is a writing space. So let's go ahead and get our belly band on, and we're not going to decorate the belly band because we want it to be free for writing. And I'm just going to aim for the center of the whole page here. My pages are 5 1/4 by 8 1/4. So I'm just going to put some glue at the top and the bottom. Okay, again, just aiming for the center. Doesn't have to be perfect. As I say, perfection is not at play in the studio, not today or any day. Not if I'm feeling sick, not if I'm feeling well. Top of the game, bottom of my game, it doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and put the whale tail tab on this one. I will ink all around these later. I didn't finish. I just wanted to make sure I got ink on the side that I was going to be putting the whale tail punch on. Thank you, Shelly. I used to like pre-cut using my dies all my whale tail tabs. I mean, I probably will for the journals because I use a lot and it's nice to have them pre-made and in different sizes, but this works when I didn't plan very well. So we're going to put this on, and what we're doing is we're going to aim for putting this whale tail tab punch on this card so that it's sitting kind of in the center. Okay, so I'm kind of lining it up on top and bottom so that it's sticking out the same amount approximately. And so I'm just going to put a little bit of a pencil mark right. I'm going to turn this so I can see right here in the center of those two, about right there. And that's where I know I want my whale tail tab to line up. I completely lost my pencil mark. Go figure. It happens to me all the time. It is right there. It's that dark spot. It just looks like it's part of the flower right there. That's why I couldn't see it. So I'm just aiming for that general area again, not looking for perfection at all. I'm going to have this one stick out a little bit more because I shoved my other ones in a little deeper, and I don't like that. I like them to line up with that curve right on the edge of the paper, like so. So that's that. So now we can do our whale tail, or we can do our, yeah, we'll do the eyelets, and we will, yeah, we'll set our eyelets and punch this hole. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's get some of this magical stuff out. I have the hardest time getting the backs out, so I'm just going to bring a bunch of them onto the table. And see, I only got one back in that whole bit. Let's just put a bunch of these out. See if we do better. There we go. There we go. So how are you guys doing today? We are having some crazy weather. Not as crazy as in Florida for sure, but it like downpoured on Monday, or it was nice on Monday, like 90 degrees on Monday. It downpoured on Tuesday. It was nice again on Wednesday, nice-ish, and then yesterday it rained, and today it's sunny. It's like Mother Nature cannot make up her mind. So there is our set there. So I'm going to do these other 4, and I'm just going to speed up that process, and I'll talk with you in a moment. Well, this is the last one. There we go. Yippee. I didn't ink the outside of those. That's silliness. I always ink those. Let me do that really quick. I don't think it really matters, but I like the brown there. Okay. So let's go ahead and get some seam binding. So I think that I was going to use these 2 again. Actually, I think I want to just do the white or the cream on all of these pieces today. So I'm just going to cut, and I'll tell you approximately what I cut. So, because I kind of have it mastered where I can get the right amount to tie a good bow. So this is about 11 inches. So, and then I just do that again. So 1, 2, and we need 3 altogether. I just ordered some more of this. I do have this Misty Blue. This is from My Scrap Cabin. I thought she had a different tone of blue, like a more pastel-y, but she doesn't. So I'm going to have to, I just ordered more of that. So I just don't want to use all that I have until I get more. So let's go ahead and feed this seam binding in to all of these tricky eyelet holes. Okay, so on this one I go in, it doesn't matter, I go from the top to the bottom through to get the kind of tie that I want to get. So again, you can experiment. You could use anything here. You could use ribbon. It's just, I love the seam binding. And then I just kind of make sure those are even-ish when I get to that point, and it ties there in the center. Oh, we need to put our other thing in. What? Let's try that again. Try that again. We got to get our journal card in here. This is our other journal card of this handsome boy, and he's going to slide in there as well. So again, we've got 2 large journal space journal cards that are really nice. So, and then we're going to move on to make the boho one as well. Of course, if you've already gotten enough, inspiration, please feel free to move on. If you want to see the boho one, you're welcome to hang out. This is my craft time, so that's partly why I do a couple prototypes off camera, because those I use in my journals, and then I do a couple on camera, and sometimes I do the decorating off camera. But this is my craft time. When I turn my camera on, that's my craft time. I don't have just bundles of time to just create and do videos, so I have to kind of smash them together. So that's why I usually come with a couple samples and then make some on camera and then finish them off camera. So I'd love to put some nice labels on these because they've got some white space that would be fun to fill up here and here. But look at that. It's absolutely gorgeous. I just love it. And what I love about it is not super high profile. It's not super bulky. And I think that was really, really good. So we are only 31 minutes in, and that's without me cutting anything out. So let's go ahead and zip through this one as well. I'm just going to move that stuff out of my way. So again, we're going to start with, I'm using the same stuff pretty much. This is some scraps I made the circles from. These are still from the Summer Bohemian from 49 Dragonfly. Look at those. Perfect for this Bohemian journal. And then we've got some journal cards. They're all patterned because that's what I have. And this is our belly band. And these are from Wild Rose Bohemian. So love it. So we're going to go ahead and fold this in half again. Okay. I think I want to use a different color ink. So I'm going to show you what I have here in my Bohemian basket. Where are you, Bohemian basket? Here you are. This is the stuff that I have prepped for the project. But I pulled out, this is the one I used before, the Mermaid Lagoon. But I also have Majestic Violet, Cobalt, Barn Door. Let's take those out. And Paradise Teal. So let's see what we want to use. I don't know. Let's do a little sample here of what these would look like. I need to grab another dauber here. Let's see what Barn Door looks like. Oh, Barn Door would be really pretty. It's kind of a reddish color. Yeah, I want to do that. Let's do Barn Door. So I'm not going to ink those yet, though, because we've got some other things to attend to, and we'll do the inking at the same time like I did previously. So we also need to make our score line here, and these are exactly the same size. They're 3 1/4 wide by 4 3/4 tall. So we're gonna score again at 1/4 inch, exactly the same as before. Okay, look at that precious one. So beautiful. If you haven't checked out 49 Dragonfly, she is such a hoot. I love watching her. Love watching her. There we go. So those are our tags. And then we've got our journal cards too. So I want to be a little different here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make kind of the same kind of tag shape I would make with for my tags on this. So I'm going to use the 2, and I'm going to, whoops, I'm going to go like that, and I'm going to make, I don't know if I want to do that there. Maybe a little bit smaller. Yeah, I don't want it to be too big of a corner there, but it's something different. I don't usually do this, but if I'm pre-making these spreads, I'm not going to be sewing around these pages, so I don't have to really worry about that. And so we'll turn it over and we'll go over here and do the same. Like that. Okay, perfect. And so we can do the same with these. So we're doing the 2, right? Oh no, which one did we do? Which one did we do? Did we do 4? We did the 4. We did the 4, Cara-Renee. So we're gonna do the 4. Yikesies. Let me finish these corners real quick and I'll be back. I feel silly. Okay, just about to the end of this laborious process. It wasn't until I got going that I figured out I could do 2 at a time and just move my corners, but you know, live and learn. Okay, so we're going to take a moment and ink all this beautiful stuff up with our barn door ink. Very different for me to use a colored ink, but here it goes. Okay, just finishing up the inking here. I'm loving the barn door. I don't think I would like it on everything, but I think it's working really well. I like to use the archival ink because if I want to do some mixed media, bringing in some of those same colors, I don't have to worry about that archival ink running or anything, because it's permanent. Archival ink is permanent, so it will not reactivate with other liquid. So again, I'll finish inking all of that later. I don't need it inked right now. I would ink around the whole inside here. So there is that. So let's start with our tags. And so again, I'm not sure what I was thinking that I was so worried on that blue one, because these are all sideways. So, you know, it is what it is, right? So let's start with the belly band. So this is our belly band. Isn't that just so gorgeous? I love the colors, so bright. So we're going to use our art glitter, or Bearly Arts rather. You can use art glitter glue too. I prefer Bearly Arts. It has a little bit more working time than art glitter glue, and it's a little bit cheaper. So, all right, so I'm just aiming for the middle here again. Aiming for the middle. Not looking for perfection, okay? Perfect. And then we're going to do that same thing. We're going to put some glue on the back of this flap. And I think I'm going to go down a little bit. Oh, no, I'm not going to go down further. I don't want to mess myself up. It's a little bit further. It's closer to a 1/2 inch, it looks like, but not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. I'll just make sure it's straight. Looks straight. Okay. It's a little bit farther from the top than the Paris one, but that's not a big deal. So in that case, so see how I had the orange ink, the barn door on here. If you put glue on that and you were working with an ink that was not permanent, it would have smeared that color. So just something to keep in mind. I love archival ink because you don't have to really think about, you know, it running or anything, no matter what you do with it. So. And so this is an example of paper that I covered that way, but it's kind of cool because it kind of ties in with the edge of this paper. So I feel okay about that. On my prototype, I put another piece of paper in here just to cover that. I might do that off camera. I don't really like that bit, but I'm not going to do it. Well, let's see. What do we have here? I'm just reaching. Sorry for my body being shot. It's embarrassing. You know what? I am going to do that. I'm just going to cut this really quick to 1/4 inch. I actually had to do it a little bit wider because I can't get that in my cutter very well. So I'm going to just ink that up as well, just so this will tie in with everything else in the spread. So just using the barn door again. I just don't like that showing, especially because it doesn't blend in with the base of the page. Oh, I'm going to have to cut that off, so I'll have to re-ink that. If I could find my words. There we go. So, yeah, I like that. So we're, oh, I don't. It's already cut. I don't know what I was thinking. It's already cut. Okay, we're going to just put some Bearly Arts on here. So at the time that you see this video, you will have already seen part 1 of our double file folder Gentleman's Grungy Faith Journal. So that is part 1 where we constructed it. Showed you how to put the folders together and all of that. And we will come back in part 2 and do more. So this is the card that we will put the whale tail tab on. So let's just, oh, and I didn't punch those holes first. Why didn't you tell me? Well, I show you a workaround, right? Not a big deal. It's not like you're going to compare them side to side. Visually, I like them to look decent, but, you know, we'll deal with it. That was really silly. In fact, let's pause here. Let's pause here. Uh-oh, did that go too far over? What? That went really far because that now does not want to bend, so I have to create a new little fold there. That's okay. I must have pushed that over just a little bit far. Okay, let's just really give that a crease because that's really popping up now. Not a big deal. Nothing that a bone folder won't help. Okay, so now, oh, yikesies. I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to go ahead and punch these holes again. It's just the same as any other thing. I just aim for the center, aim for the same depth into the piece. So let's just do that. Okay. So don't worry if you don't do it exactly like I am, or if you do exactly like it did and you're like, why did I do that? Not a big deal. Okay. So there's that. We need to work on these, so don't we? So we've got 2 circles here. So I'm going to go ahead and fold them in half again. Kind of a strange color this one is. Really muted out, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and ink these. Ooh, that's really vibrant. Woo! On that more neutral paper. It's kind of pretty. And again, you want to ink the whole side, all the edges of the printed side of your your circle, if you're using circles for the closure like I am. You could also use a whale tail tab. There's a lot of options. So there we go. So let's do this again. I want that to be my top on that one, and I want that one to be my top on that one. So I'm going to put them together, let's smash them together, and punch my hole. I will make another one probably out of some scraps for my reference journal. Guys, I've completely neglected that journal, and I'm really sorry. But I'm going to bring it back on camera and show you the updates that I have made. So let's go ahead and get this ready. It's a little bit harder to see on this paper because this is blends in so much, but we can do it. I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac again just because I have more opportunity to move it. Again, making sure that you don't have both sides of the journal page together there if you're going for the look that I'm going for. Okay, perfect. And I mean, it'd probably be easier to set your eyelets before you glue on, but it's all right. It doesn't really matter. It's neither here nor there. Now I'm trying to keep that flat because when you move your paper and bend it, you can get a distortion of that lining up. That looks really good. Okay, turn that over and give that a good press. I think it makes a nice little element on the other side too. I like that. Ooh, that's not straight. Now that I look at it this way, let's see if I can move that down a little bit. I can. Yes. Sometimes holding it at a different angle will give you a different view of it. So that one looks a little bit off too, and now it looks better. So just little tricks. Okay, so let's go ahead and set these eyelets. I dump a bunch of this stuff out on my table so I don't have to fiddle. Just going to get those scraps out of there. I do not want to throw away any of those backs, so I try to keep them separate. So I'm going to speed this part up, guys. looks like I didn't ink around these either, which is okay. Can always do it. Oh, I love that. That added effect right there. That pop of that orangish red is gorgeous. I'm glad I pulled those inks out. When I got the new Calyx units to sit over there, I talked about how I had a total L-shaped desk, and I took out the L part of it, and I was able to get another 2x4 Calyx unit. And so now all of my stuff is within reach, literally within reach, that I use every day. So it's super, super cool. So we've got one more eyelet to do after we put the whale tail tab on here. This is our larger one, so it's going to go on this one. So again, I'm going to put this in here. Oh, that's too big. I didn't cut it down at all. So I need to trim that down. I neglected to cut it to size. It can't be 8 1/4 because that's the size of, that's the height of the page. So give me a sec. So basically is all I did is I just took that 1/4 inch off of the top, which means I need to recut my little corner here, which is not a big deal. Everything is negotiable, meaning fixable. So don't fret. I try to make sure that I come to the studio with a lot of joy and peace on board so that I don't get discouraged with my process of creating. So I would suggest if you can do that. I mean, sometimes we bring stuff to the table because, you know, creating can be very therapeutic, but in terms of like being in judgment of ourselves, it's just not a good scene. So I'm just, again, putting it approximately the same distance from the top and the bottom, closing those tags, and then making a mark here-ish. Okay, I'm just going to make a big circle there. It's going to get covered up anyway. I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac to put the swale tail tab on, and then we are nearly done. I will probably add some words to these, a little bit of frou-frou decoration to all 4 of these, the 2 that I did off camera and the 2 that we did together. And then, yeah, you'll be able to see those photos at the end of the video. And let me just stick these in so you guys can see what she looks like. I'm not going to put the seam binding on. I can do that off camera. You already get the gist of it. So I'm going to just shove that in there. Be careful when you've just glued that whale tail tab on because you can actually move it inadvertently, and you don't really want to do that. I love the layered up, so this is going to have to be cut down too. So the layered up look by just having so many layers of color, I think is really, really pretty. So that is our boho one. Isn't that so fun? So I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.